long-awaited Occupied Territories Bill, we know it's going to be coming before the Dáil for a vote soon. We know that the Foreign Affairs Joint Committee strongly recommends progressing the bill, and that the prohibition of imports from the Palestine occupied territory should be extended to include trade and services, in line with the advisory opinion of the International Court of Justice and the resolution which Ireland co-sponsored at the United Nations General Assembly. But last week I saw there was a case for alarm, and I just want to make sure that we get clarification around that it doesn't get lost between the budget and the presidential election. That the possible intention that the government is going to ignore the recommendations of the Foreign Affairs Committee and to leave out a ban on trade and services from the bill. The first was a speech of Taoiseach Micheál Martin to the UN General Assembly last Friday, in which, when referring to Gaza, he said, "We are legislating against the import of goods from the occupied territories." He made no reference to banning trade and services. And the second instance, which was highlighted to me by a constituent of mine, by an MEP, by a government MEP, in response to a letter where he indicated that the Irish government was preparing to pass the Occupied Territories Bill banning trade in goods from Palestinian land illegally occupied by Israel, following the example of Slovenia and Spain. So I suppose I want clarification that is it possible the government will try to introduce this bill when we're distracted by the presidential campaign? And I'm just wondering if we could get clarification about its intentions that are including or excluding trade in services in the Occupied Territories Bill, and we need clarification about it urgently, given the level of public engagement on this issue, and I think we deserve to know what the government intends to do. Thank you.
Senator Conor Murphy, Francis Black and Essa Cosgrave have raised the Occupied Territories Bill that has, of course, completed PLS before the break, so it is drafting. I know that Taoiseach is meeting with Senator Black this week, is it, or next week, and I hope there will be clarity on that. I certainly have no information of, at this stage, whether services are or are not been excluded. I know the report was gave the recommendation from the department, from the committee, and certainly no indication of when that bill will be published or when it will be available for drafting. So I'll certainly raise it with the Taoiseach again, but I have no additional information on the actual timeline on that bill.